What's going on, people? Family, Sam here from TiCGamesNetwork.com, and congratulations, you guys have leveled up. This is the Double XP podcast, and today the format will be a little bit different. We're not live, but we have some special guests. As you guys know, if you follow us on Twitter, whether it's on my handle or the official 2XP handle, I've been talking about this crazy, super fun game that we got to experience at PAX South 2020. But before we get going, I have one member from my panel I will introduce today. It is Kevin, aka Citizen Snips.
What's going on, everybody? We've been wanting to put this together ever since we saw these guys over at PAX. Their game kind of caught our eye right from the start. Mainly, I think it was y'all's some of the print materials. You had the wall art and everything kind of caught our eye. So we were like, oh, let's stop by there later. And then after y'all got set up, we definitely had to jump in. So we're very glad to have you guys here. Thanks for coming and joining us. And hopefully we'll have some really interesting content and help kind of illuminate your game to some of our viewers to catch you guys some more attention, because you definitely deserve it.
Thank you, man. We're looking forward to it.
And I guess I will start by introducing the brother that I saw first. I'm walking over and I see you struggling with that TV, and I was like, oh, I don't know what this game is, but my man's gonna get it working eventually, and when he does, I'm coming over. What's going on, brother? Khalil, what's going on?
Hey, yeah, that was a crazy weekend, but we've been to a few of these, so we kept a cool head. For everyone who's wondering what happened, our first day at PAX South, the TV that we rented just didn't power on.
It's crapped itself.
Yeah. It was probably a TCL or something like that, wasn't it?
It was a beautiful TV, man. It was a big Samsung new QLED, and it just didn't work in the morning. It's crazy. So I left Khalil there and didn't do anything.
Hey, I will say this though, y'all did slightly better than one dude I saw who I caught him. He was coming into the con that first day as we were walking in carrying a TV, and I heard him talk about how he jacked it from his hotel for his booth. So,
oh wow.
Oh wow!
So at least y'all didn't have to resort to that. So that's good.
And that's why they know those things down.
Yeah. So we have Khalil and the other dynamic duo, Mr. Ahmed. What's going on, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. I kind of wanted to hear more of the trap stories that are being shared for the podcast. Maybe we'll find some more time for that. But
I'll tell you what, if y'all want for the ending of this interview, I'll tell you one of my most like triumphant moments while I was there.
Because you really had a different career. I think people need to know about. So
I've lived a very varied lifestyle. I've been very fortunate to experience a lot of different things.
We should start a series called Trap Stories from a Gamer. I think people will come out listening.
He's the Yo Gotti of gaming right now.
So like I said, we are talking with the team. This is Decoy Games, that you guys can see on the screen. This lovely yellow duck with the greatest high top fade you have ever seen in your life. And they make a super incredible game called Swimsanity that definitely caught my eye. I had a crazy amount of fun with it. I completely obliterated my team the only time I got to play the game. So we kind of want to deep dive into Swimsanity. Yeah. And for those who did not know or haven't read up into Swimsanity, whichever one of the dynamic duos want to go. First off, even though I've read a lot of your backstory, people who don't know, how did Decoy Games, be created? How was it here today? How did you guys form Decoy Games and Swimsanity?
Yeah, so I mean, we've always wanted to become game developers, but if just starting from like the actual Decoy Games as an entity, started messing around with game development in college. Always wanted to be a game developer. Started getting into like computer science and stuff like that, because I didn't really know what it meant, or basically what you need to know to get into like the development industry. And I was kind of disappointed by my senior year. I actually I couldn't find any game development classes until I found a really random, like only like 6 people in it Flash class. And part of that Flash class is they were teaching us how to make Flash games. So I got crazy excited. I'm like, I'm going to go all in on this. And I made a simple hyper casual game called Swimsanity, The Adventures of Muba Jiver, the Scuba Diver. And it was literally just a game where this scuba diver would try to go down to the bottom of the ocean to grab gold and bring it back up to his boat, while a bunch of different sea creatures would try to just attack him. And the cool thing was, like, I made this game, and like they'd leave the computers on every once in a while, and like your game would be running on it, and I'd come in and people I didn't know would just be playing it just for fun. So, you know, after seeing that, I was like, all right, like maybe we have something kind of cool here. And, you know, Ahmed at the same time went to the same school, and he was, I think, a sophomore at that time. And he also saw that as well. And we just kind of started talking about it. And we were like, where can we take this? Right. Like, what can we do with this? And we decided, after a bunch of conversations, like, let's make this a console game. But we knew if we wanted to make it a console game, we had to add a lot to it. Right. So, like, more weapons, more sea creatures, multiplayer, all these different aspects of the game that make a real fun console game. And, you know, ever since that point, we knew what we wanted as far as the end result of our game. We just had to get our skills there to make the game. And Swimsanity is essentially like after our long journey of like self-teaching of how to make games, is kind of the end result that we saw way back then, but it's kind of coming to fruition.
So, man, you saw your brother make this game and was like, "Yep, let's go make some money."
Pretty much. That's my job here. No, I mean it was incredible what he started off with, and we just always try to have big aspirations of what we do, and we always want to make a console game. That was what we played, and we liked all the consoles, so we wanted to take our time on that journey and be patient and try to get through and be able to take on the path of being self-published is something that we're really proud of, and be able to get the game out there.
Now, the first, I guess, question I want to ask that's related to, you know, after you guys made the game, is Mooba Jiver just because you needed something to rhyme with scuba diver? Like,
yeah, we were very curious about how that name came about.
So literally Mooba Jiver, the school. So I'm mad corny. I'll just say it right now.
It's super corny.
Dad jokes for days, kind of corny, like
just like the ultimate amount of corn that's me.
All right, nice.
So
nice.
Literally, Mooba Jiver was just, I just wanted to make something to rhyme with scuba diver. I actually made a sequel to Swimsanity for my final called Swimsanity Deep Sea Jivers. So obviously, like, once we're talking about Swimsanity going forward, I still want. I'm gonna be honest with you. I still wanted the title, but then Ahmed was like, "No, that's definitely not gonna happen." So we kind of met midway. We're like, "All right, we'll call the character Amuba. All this Jiver stuff, we'll get rid of it." And, you know, we kind of went with it. It was a unique name, and it's stuck.
Because I remember I always just seen Swimsanity, and so as we're looking and like diving and digging into your guys' story, and I'm like, Mooba Jiver. I was like, oh, he just trying to rhyme. He just did something to fit.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, man.
That's right.
It just kind of works out that way.
So as we're speaking of where things came from and how they're created, Kevin has been stuck on one particular thing about you guys that he wanted to ask.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. So initially, when I kind of started looking through this, well, I got a couple things I want to get to. The first thing first, though, the number one thing I wanted to ask after I saw it, that logo, man, the duck with the high top fade that's like a tank configuration. I need to understand the origin story of this duck, because I absolutely love this logo, like beyond reasonable means. And I need to know where it came from. Like, what was the inspiration for this?
Yeah, so Chris being our artist, like, it actually is like a culmination of kind of how we do things. Typically, I call Chris, that's why he's so amazing to work with, and I try to work with him, and I get to like say what I would love visually, and he's just so good at taking that and really perfecting what is being discussed, and we always toss ideas out, but we always knew we wanted that logo that kind of represented what we do, the fun stuff we do, and we always are around with our big headphones. We love music. So the Decoy duck being kind of a Trojan horse sitting on that tank, kind of bopping back and forth, that was kind of a big thing for us to also show. We always call it Decoy Games because even though we're a team of three, like, we produce things that you might not see coming. We actually try to produce things at a much higher level than what you might typically see. So the Decoy duck, we also want something that's very brandable. You'll be seeing a lot more of that duck, and, you know, we get a lot of feedback on a lot of our memorabilia and our clothing. So it's definitely something we want to try to push later.
I was definitely thinking, worst case scenario, no matter what, y'all could make an entire brand just off of that. You could sell merch and everything for days. And that's I'm glad y'all in the answer to that, you kind of brought up something that we didn't touch on earlier. This is a full 3-man team, guys. In addition to Ahmed and Khalil, there is, I don't want to mispronounce it. Is it Chris Venn?
Yeah, Chris Venn.
Okay, Chris Venn is the artist who's been helping out with a lot of the work as well. So y'all keep in mind, this is just a 3-man team who are putting out this kind of quality work. So that's definitely something to be appreciated as well.
So
Chris is amazing artist. Amazing artist.
I was going to ask. So if you guys are Superman and Batman, the dynamic duo, how did Chris make his way onto the team?
Is he like Aquaman? Is he Hot Girl? Like how does he fit in?
Because I could have sworn I read somewhere that somebody said our sidekick. I could have dreamt that. I could have sworn I read sidekick somewhere. But how did Chris come along to the team?
I known Chris since I was small, so we've known him for such a long time. And kind of as we started out, just with this stuff, we had to teach ourselves game development. We didn't really know exactly how to make games. But Chris is the same way. He was a graffiti artist growing up, but I always knew he had the vision. So it was just a matter of him teaching him the software. I know as he was software, he had the vision, and combining it together, I knew he could be something awesome. So it was kind of cool to kind of start off, and you saw the beginning how our art is and kind of going through and seeing where it is now. So yeah, he's Batgirl.
I wonder if he will listen to this and realize that he's
when he hears this, will he be offended by the analogy?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Pretty much. Just want to get back to the real part of the whole question there.
But yeah, just to add to what he just said, though, we always talk about how we're self-made, self-developer, self-taught. Chris himself has never done digital art before this game.
Nice.
He's gone through a similar journey of learning how to do not just digital art, but art for a game as well, and not just the characters in the front, the backgrounds, the menus and stuff like that. So, big shouts to Chris that he's done a real good job.
See, and that's something that I personally really appreciate. So like this past PAX is probably the greatest example of it, and I mean PAX South is usually smaller than the other ones that they do around the country. But it's because we're teetering on the edge of next gen consoles kind of releasing. There was pretty much a almost non-existent presence from all of the big boys. No Microsoft, no Sony to the majority extent, and that's for most people that would be kind of a turn off. Like they want to know the big things that are coming. To me, that was like the greatest thing about this PAX is it was more focused on developers like you guys, people who like. We lead regular everyday lives doing other 9-to-5 kind of stuff. We have to make ends meet. We do this because it's our passion. It's something we want to create. And I feel like there's definitely something to be said about those who kind of go pursue this path, knowing it's something they want to do and hopefully can make it a career, but you're doing it on top of everything else that all the rest of us have to do every single day. So I definitely respect you guys for that. And I think it's really neat that we got to meet more of y'all versus just look at the profit-driven companies like Microsoft and Sony who have to come out and be like AAA all day.
Because trust me, I'm sure it's a lot easier for us to talk about video games than it is for you guys to make video games. So much respect.
Yes, for sure, man.
So we know Khalil is in class. He made the Flash game, and Meg came on and said, "Hey man, this looks super dope. Let's do something on top of this." So how did we get from the Flash game to what it is now? Like, do you guys have like any inspirations in other games, maybe other developers? Oh man, let's add this in, let's do that. Like, how was the transition from the original Flash game to the amazing game you guys have today?
Yeah, I mean, so Swimsanity was really made in such drastic iterations that you could almost say every iteration that we did is a whole different game. Like, I know we've been working on Swimsanity. Everyone's like, you've been doing Swimsanity for 9 years. I'm like, yeah, but not so much, because what we do is we'd make a game, which was Swimsanity at the time, and then start over from scratch. So from the point where Swimsanity was literally went from a single-player game to a 2-player game, and then we went to 4-player, but there was literally a time where like the MOBAs would all become large mechs. So it was like a mech shooting game underwater.
Yeah, that was a weird face.
I was gonna say, are you about to get Gundam on me right now? Because
we even had a Facebook game for Swimsanity that was a single-player game as well.
Okay.
So we've made a lot of different games under the brand of Swimsanity, but we knew what we wanted for the end result, so none of those games ever became officially released.
So even I'm about to ask you. So is that Facebook game up so I can go check it out?
No, we took it down.
Oh my! I don't even know how you can get to the Facebook games we made anymore.
It was cool to release it, but what really annoyed me is like people saw that game and thought that was like, oh, that was the game you guys made.
Yeah, that was it.
Decoy Games is gone. We're like, no, we're still here. We're still working.
We made that in like a couple months.
Yeah.
While we were working on the game.
So you guys have been working on this game, well, multiple games, 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years together.
That's a lot. That's a lot of devotion for you guys to be working so hard and not to sell a game yet and not taking any profit. That's a lot. I mean, just from what you're doing in development, and I don't know what you guys maybe do 9 to 5. That's a lot of time and devotion for something that you love. I commend that, man. That's super dope. But you did talk about. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's definitely something I want to point out for all the internet keyboard warriors out there who like to complain and yell at every dev under the sun. Y'all don't understand how much time and effort has to go into a lot of these games. So that is a representation of how much work it takes to put something out. So y'all need to ease back a little bit, be a little bit more appreciative, not so critical, unless you're about to jump in and fix all the problems in the world. Take a back seat and allow some people to breathe a little bit, okay? Because it takes a lot of time and effort to make this stuff.
Yeah, especially when releasing on the consoles. That's why a lot of indie devs get publishers, because just the whole business aspect and the delivery on those platforms, there's a lot of work to do. I mean, our time is split a lot outside of development. So, and we tell a lot of devs too, like we took all those years to do it, but during that time we were working 9 to 5. Making sure financially we were set. So we had a business plan the whole time. And our business plan was to make sure that we were working to make sure we have to fund the project. And then as soon as we were comfortable, while we're getting close to the release, we can then kind of go on and make sure we can finish this off. So yeah, it's all about having a plan in place, but there's a lot of work, man. It's not just development. I mean, we split a lot of time on the business, marketing, social media, community side of it. So it's a lot to do.
So I've always kind of assumed this, but you guys are brothers, right?
Yeah.
You got
unfortunately.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
So I guess there will come, like, with you guys already being so close, it's kind of easy if you guys work together. But there be the moment, because Khalil, you're the oldest, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
You're in the moment you're like, I'm the big brother. We're doing this. You're gonna have to deal with it.
How often have you pulled that card? Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the crazy thing about working with Ahmed is because we're only 2 years apart, even when I think I'm right, we're so close that we've been through so many similar experiences that there's such an even level of respect. So there's not a lot of power moves or anything like that. And honestly, whether it's me or him, if you have something you want to bring to the table, you got to back it up with reasons. So that's what really kind of gives us the power behind some of the good decisions that went into the game. So. I mean, we come with a lot of passion and everything like that, but it's all out of the respect and the, wanting to get to the same end goal of the journey. And I tell people a lot of times too, the blessing that we have working as brothers, like I said, this is not like I made this happen, right? This is kind of a blessing that a lot of people aren't able to have is I have my brother that I can work with. And I know at the end of the day, no matter how hard things get with working with this game or working with this business, he's got to be here tomorrow, right? So it's there's nothing that will break him apart and have him run away or anything like that. And that's really helped us with keep our trust together, keep our bond together, keep the end goal together and everything. So
true.
Awesome. Now, I do want to dive back into Swimsanity, but I do want to ask a quick question. So it is purely Swimsanity, it's no longer Swimsanity, Muba Java, the scuba diver, right? It's just
let's just settle that right now.
I think I'm going to start a petition to add the full subtitle back in there. I personally love it. I think it's going to be good.
That was my first attempt at a power move, just did not work.
Yeah, that was the weakest power move ever.
So I did want to ask too. So kind of touching on what you said earlier, Ahmed, when y'all were kind of talking about developing for different consoles and everything, I've personally heard from a developer that we met with, not this past PAX, but the one before PAX 2019, Phaser Lock Interactive, the guys that are working on Final Assault VR. They told me that when you're doing a multi-plat kind of game like that, it's very difficult trying to appease the regulations and requirements for each different console. And I've heard that Sony tends to be a little bit more nitpicky than others. Is that, are you guys allowed to confirm that? We can delete this question if I want to know, is Sony more difficult on you guys as far as what they require from you to have a game published on their store or their platform?
We equally love all of the different consoles.
Of course.
Yeah, that's basically how it goes. Look, I mean, it's a very complex process, and they're all three different companies. So, what the more platforms you release on, that's why typically people do one at a time.
Right.
So when you're trying to release on all three, yeah, you definitely need to look ahead and make sure that you're appeasing all of the regulations and things that go on. I think for all of them, there's pros and cons, but so in the end, they're all, to be honest, they all come out pretty even.
Okay, got you.
As far as like that process, but once you're in console, like I think that's the jump. The jump really is more PC to console. Once you're in console, man, there's another level of expertise and effort you got to put in to make sure your game's up there, because they're gonna make sure it runs well so that by the time it gets to the players, it's all good. So
at that point, it's a partnership, right? So I mean, at the same time, while you have your own agenda and we're trying to do our things, Decoy Games, you have to understand that each one of these 3 companies have their own agendas and they're trying to meet certain things while utilizing your game. So you have to kind of bend a little bit to what they do and then kind of try to get them to bend to what you're trying to do as well. And that's with any business partnership, to be honest with you.
Right. True.
Definitely 100%. So Swimsanity, can you guys kind of talk to us a little bit more about what the players can expect as far as game modes, couch co-op, online, maybe cross-play, cross-progression in the future? Can you guys kind of dive into, what the players can expect as far as different modes and stuff like that when they hop in the game?
Yeah, so, Swimsanity, for anyone who hasn't played, it's a 4-player underwater shooter. We got a collection of competitive and cooperative game modes where you can play with or against your friends. And up to this point, most people who've played it have played it either in our beta or actually most people have played it in like a convention setting. And I think they come in and see like a deathmatch mode and assume like that's Swimsanity. But we actually have 8 different game modes, both versus and cooperative. So on the versus side, we got your 4-player free-for-all deathmatch, your 2v2 deathmatch. We have like a capture the flag mode called Or Brush. You can play that either free-for-all or 2v2. We also have an elimination mode called Last Smuba Standing. And then on the flip side of all that, you can then play all together on the same team. So we have a survival, kind of like a horde mode, go against unlimited waves of enemies. We have our adventure mode, which is like a scrolling screen kind of mode. And then we have a challenge layer to that called Adventure Sanity, which is just like ups the difficulty like crazy. And then all those modes can be played online, offline, local play with bots. And then on top of that, we have a really cool challenge system, which is our orb challenge system. So you guys checked out a lot of the unleashes in the demo that we had. I think we only had like 6 or 7 at PAX South. There's actually 13 in the end game. What am I, Ahmed?
13.
Oh, wow.
13
Okay.
in the end game. And we have like a challenge system that allows you to unlock those unleashes. So there's 150 different challenges in the game. Across all the different game modes, and as you like complete these challenges, you unlock the different unleashes. So we're really excited to see people once they start getting competitive online, seeing somebody else unlock an unleash that they didn't see, and then going back and trying to get that unleash so they can play on their same level.
Okay.
It should be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Awesome. So I guess my next question, one of the things I've noticed is when we kind of sat down and played Swimsanity, you guys are pretty, simple with to say, all right, right click does this, left click does this. Did you guys like how was it when you create the game? Hey, we want to make sure this is sort of simple, easy to use for people who can come by, hey, with their 9 and 10-year-old and sit down and play. Was that part of the end goal to make it accessible to a lot of people?
Yeah, that was a huge goal to make sure the game is you can quickly pick it up, but then there's a lot of layers to it. We have a lot of tournaments where little kids come in and start ripping on everybody. But then once you kind of get to the tournament, you'll see kind of the levels and people will watch. Just with the controls on that aspect, the same thing we want to do is make it very watchable and understanding of what's going on. So even though with Swimsanity, it's supposed to be a lot of action, you can follow the game, you can follow the gameplay. But that was a big thing for us to make that simple. And that going to conventions, having people play over and over was really helping to make sure we're on the path to making a simple game.
And like the cool thing that we kind of pride ourselves on in this game is like anyone can pick it up, but there's levels to the game. You'll see us a lot of times at shows. Like we'll have a full tournament and you're watching like whoever gets to the finals, like ripping people and stuff like that. And then we're like, all right, cool, dev challenge. And we go like 2v2 just to show them. And
then we humble them.
Yeah, just to be like, there's a lot of like levels to us do, because a lot of people start to learn the different techniques and stuff of how to, like avoid incoming damage, how to utilize your unleash the right way. And like, honestly, we had a beta maybe like 3 weeks ago, and I can say we are not even close to the best players in our game anymore. And you start to see kids use like new techniques and stuff like that, and different things that are going on. So I really like the fact that there's a lot of different levels in the game, but then everyone can pick up and feel like they're also contributing as well.
So you guys are already getting smoked in your own game?
Oh my god, yeah. I'm trying to hold on like just for a little bit and like see how long I can be like, yeah, I'm one of the best players. But yeah, there's kids out there just destroying us now.
Yeah, like I'm curious what it's like. Like, what is that feeling like when you see people start to do things that like even y'all had never thought of, and like combos that y'all hadn't figured out yet? And like, is that a rewarding experience for you? Is some of it like game breaking? Like, oh crap, we didn't mean for that to be possible, or like how does that work out from your perspective?
We probably got different opinions on this. I'll let you go first.
No, it's definitely cool. I mean, I'm gonna be a top 10 player now. No, it's cool to see how players approach the game, and that's actually the most fun I have is running the tournaments and seeing how quickly or how well people can play. And we have people come back over and over. So we got people that are kind of like even starting to be known in our community, especially in the New York area. Like people are like, oh, he's here. Like, oh, I saw him at this one. So it's like even in that small community, like people are seeing these guys come back and seeing how they play. So there could be like actual upsets and stuff. So now it's really cool to see people build that. And as soon as the game is out and online, I know it's going to start reaching the audience of people that are just so good at picking up games like this. And I'm really excited to see how that all kind of works out. But I mean, I still feel like I'm one of the best out there. So I don't know about Khalil. You can ask him.
Yeah, you've lost a lot of def challenges.
We might need to have a 1v1 as the closing interview to settle the debate.
Yeah, I mean, for me in the moment, I can't stand it because it's like I'm supposed to be the dev. Like I'm supposed to know all the different ins and outs and stuff like that. And you have people just like smoking. You're like, no, in your mind, you're like, no, that's lag or something. Like that.
Yeah.
After it's all said and done, though, like looking back on it, you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like there's stuff in this game that I unintentionally have there as far as strategies and whatnot. So
that's pretty awesome, man.
Well, I'm kind of glad I stopped playing because I'm still high from my one time playing and being so good. You guys didn't get the chance to humble me, so in my mind, I'm still the greatest Swimsanity player of all time.
Can you like set up a closed beta that you give him access to and just?
I am the greatest Swimsanity player of all time.
Absolutely shut this man up because
we'll do it on a stream. Yeah, we'll do it on a stream.
Yes.
My one and only game, I went 19-2. So I'm the greatest player of all time.
Shame him publicly. I want him absolutely dismantled. I want him to cry whenever he thinks of your game because of how brutally you savaged him.
Until proven otherwise, I'm the greatest Swimsanity player of all time.
Okay, we had plenty of 20 KOs in the game, so we'll see.
There you go, get him.
And I think the beauty about this game is it is for everyone, right? It brings out such a competitive feel to it. Like from the moment we started playing, I was like, "There's no way I can't lose," because it's a very competitive game, and it's a different feel from playing something like a Smash or type of fighter game. It's just something about this game that I can't quite put my thumb on yet, but it feels like when you playing, like you're playing for fun, but I better not freaking lose this game. It's just something about it that it's amazing, man. I just can't believe. I can't believe that you guys, you two brothers came in with your sidekick, of course, and you guys made such an amazing game.
With Batgirl.
With Batgirl, yes. So I do want to ask, so we do know it is going to be on Steam, correct? What that was. So Steam, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation, correct?
Yeah, I was about to say, y'all are covering all the bases, right? Nice.
All of it, man.
So, and I was about to say I did want to give props too for something that y'all kind of touched on earlier. Like when I saw it at the convention, my initial impression was, oh, it's just this like multiplayer kind of battle mode kind of thing. And it wasn't until I got back home and started doing my research that you have the adventure mode, the co-op with that, and like the horde mode and all that kind of stuff. So that just figuring that out in myself kind of raised your game in my rank so far already, because I'm like, dang, there's so much more for me to experience than just this kind of
that's like what we're most excited about. There's a small group of people that know what our game is, because we ran like a private beta, and the moment they were able to see like what else was in it, they're like, oh man, this mode is like different. And they were just playing like our survival mode ended up being one of our most popular modes. Like people were just playing that over and over, and we tried to make each mode feel like a game. We really did. We tried to make each one feel like its own game. So people are already excited based off just one game mode in one level in one world. So those people are really going to have an awesome experience because it's just so much more than that.
Yeah, I was about to say that's something too. I know you guys did only demo the one level there at PAX, so I know obviously there's going to be more, but getting to see like kind of that realization when I figured out the wide variety that you guys are going to have, that got me that much more excited for the game. I was like, dang, I already thought this was good, but now I know it's going to be even better than that. So that was very exciting for me personally.
Yes, sir.
Like, you guys have no idea. You guys might think we're just talking, but we literally talked about this game up until this interview almost every day. Like, I got home because I had Khalil, I had your business card. I was like a girl who like dated a guy and she doesn't know when to call. I was like, when should I email? Like, no, I'll wait a few days. that's how it was. I'm like, okay, I'll send it now. And then I waited. I was like, oh, snap, it didn't go through. So I sent it again. I was like, oh, I hope he emails me back. Like,
I got 2 emails.
Oh, so the other one did go through. Okay. See?
Yo, but
It's funny.
Don't let him cover it up. Okay, roughly 75% of our conversation revolving your game has been him bragging about his victory and me accusing him of cheating, rightfully so, I might add. Okay, it's been confirmed basically, but that was the most part. That was his most excited part about bringing up the game. But I think that says something about the game itself, like the fact that it makes you like that excited to brag on your friends and kind of hype yourself up. That's something cool too, because it gives you that personal thing that you don't get a lot of days with games these days. It's more about kind of just trudging through, like, oh, I finished this one. It's more about the completion itself rather than the experience that you get while you do it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And I respect Smash for being exactly what it is and the phenomenon it is. The thing with, so I actually my first time playing Smash was actually Smash Ultimate. I just, for whatever reason, I just never had a chance to jump into the game. But the one thing about Smash is that we tried to differentiate ourselves. I feel like it's already established itself over the years. Once you enter it as a new person, there's so many layers to like feeling in the community. So there's already these known ways to play versus not, like, so it doesn't feel as welcoming, I think, as a game. So we wanted to bring something that was kind of fresh and new, but also welcoming, that has that same competitive spirit. So for possibly the people, especially on a competitive side, that might feel like it's hard to jump into that community late, we feel like Swimsanity is a good reset, and it would feel like kind of right at home with that.
So right now, throughout this interview, I have a lot of clips playing of Swimsanity. So if there's one thing that you guys want people to know about the game, like your pitch to people on why they should play Swimsanity, what would it be?
Yeah, you can play the game no matter where you're playing it or who you're playing with. A lot of times games today, like, they don't have an online mode or only, or, you know, you can't play by yourself because, like, it literally is a 4-player game. We make sure that we covered all different aspects, right? So if you're that kid at home who maybe doesn't have internet access, you can play by yourself with bots. Or if you're like, you know, you can play with your brother with bots. You can combine those two together. You can play online. You can do we have like custom rooms, so you can do like casual games online. You can do matchmaking and stuff like that. We grew up in like the N64 era, transitioning over to like Xbox, where online play started to become a thing. Right. Where like things were definitely still competitive back then, but they didn't like forget the, you know, like the what's the essence of gaming. It's like playing with your friends, right?
Right.
So we wanted to make sure we had that in the game, had that kind of aspect in the game where you can compete with your peers and compete against them and compete against strangers as well. So we have, however you want to play Swimsanity or enjoy it, it's going to be there for you. Yeah,
I think the thing I'm really proud of this game is, like I said, when we made it, we kind of compared it to games we played growing up. So when a lot of people, especially with some indie titles, you maybe start to lose like what makes like a AAA game AAA, and it's really like that end-to-end feature list. And I think what people are really going to be excited about is when they get Swimsanity, they're going to see a pretty in-depth multiplayer experience, not just from, like Khalil said, the way that things you expect to happen. Like if I had multiple local players, I want to be able to play together online, like multiple accounts, so we both can progress. All different things, party systems, matchmaking, custom rooms, all on day one. But our online architecture is also really good too. We actually base our architecture on what a lot of like the top fighting games do. So the latency is really good competitively. So it's really an aspect, I think, of polish that people are going to see at launch that they typically would find in like a AAA experience, but you're going to get it for half the price. here, and there'll be a lot of content that's going to come after release as well.
Nice. Okay, cool.
You said a phrase that I'm interested in. You said at launch. When is at launch?
Yeah, like so we kind of discussed this behind closed doors before we started recording, but if y'all are ready to reveal your release date, if y'all want to give us the juice and make us that outlet, I'm totally okay with that. I have no problem.
We're actually like, just as your surprise, we're super excited to announce to you guys that Swimsanity will be releasing on the day that we tell you it comes out.
You had me going, man.
My
hopes were like,
I was getting ready to go on Twitter. I was like, yeah, Swimsanity releases. I was ready. Go, okay. I respect it.
That's all right. That's cool, though. I appreciate it.
Not really soon. We can tell you guys that we're literally finalizing our copies and such. So we're planning on announcing the release date in the next couple weeks. So yeah, just stay tuned. Is all we can say at this point.
Nice. And I am curious, because you guys are releasing on every platform out there pretty much. Is there, because they all have their own controllers, their own kind of mechanisms for controlling the game, is there one that each of you kind of prefer as your preferred way to play the game? Is it mouse and keyboard for you, Xbox controller, PlayStation, Switch?
I'm primarily an Xbox gamer, so
okay.
I play all the different consoles, honestly, but Xbox has always been the controller that just feels right.
I'm a controller person, so as long as it's controller. That was the one shift we made in like the last 3 or 4 months. Thanks for all our testers and stuff. Is like our game's on PC on Steam, and you can play the mouse and keyboard too.
Right.
So the mouse and keyboard works really well. You got a cursor on the screen, and we had people that played on PC tested a lot. So if you're not a controller person, yeah, I suck at it personally, but like no, the people that play PC games said it felt really good. So. My preference is just making sure I have like a pro type of controller, and
I got you with the little paddles and everything.
No, I don't need the paddles, but I need just to have it fit in my hand. Sometimes some of the Switch ones are a little small for my hand. I need like the pro. Like I use the pro controller, the Switch Pro controller.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I do want to ask you guys a quick favor. Sometime from now, months, days, years, when you guys are some of the biggest names in gaming, I want you guys make sure you guys come back and talk to us. Definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh come on, man! I gotta whoop you on live stream. Like that's.
I'll be gray haired. I'll be wrinkly as all hell, but I'll still be. I love video games.
Yeah, we'll be back, man. No worries, man.
Nice.
So, where can the good people find you guys and learn more about Swimsanity?
Yes, plug away.
Yeah, so Decoy Games, that's DECOY Games. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Decoy Games Official. We're also on Discord, so if you just search Swimsanity, you'll find our server. We're always up there talking a lot more than we should be. Yeah, honestly, shoot us a message. We're always responding and everything. We're always up to date. We're always doing things outside of just that's kind of one thing with us. We're not always just game developers, so you'll see us doing a lot of like community work and stuff, going to schools or doing small shows around where we are, different places around the country and stuff. So definitely follow our social media. We like to think we're pretty interesting people. It's up for debate, but
yeah, we are.
So while you guys were saying that, I just went ahead and joined your Discord. So it is that easy, folks. All you got to do is search Swimsanity on Discord, and it's right there. So
that's right.
You can't get more convenient than that.
You can't. That's what we do.
Beautiful, beautiful. Man, I want to thank you guys once again for coming out and talking with us and laughing with us. It was definitely a pleasure. Like I said, I don't think there's anyone who, because I've had some people who I posted a couple of gifts and they were like, oh my God, what is this? Like, this game was cool. So I'm hoping those people will share it out, and people who are on our website, TiCNetwork.com, will share this interview out so they can see more about you guys, more about your incredible game. And we all know the release date is when it comes out. That's confirmed here on our podcast, so that was great. I want to thank you, Khalil, Undead, for coming.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, you heard it here. Breaking news, man. Breaking news. No, man, we appreciate you guys' support. We'll make sure we give you guys some review keys, okay? So thank you guys for supporting us.
That's awesome, man.
Guys, get that early. So I can't tell you when that'll happen because that's not the breaking news I can say, but I'll make sure
when it's ready.
But breaking news, they will have access to the game before it's out. Breaking news, everybody. So if you want to
reviewing this game.
You can maybe jump them and steal the key from them if you want a free one. So I'm not going to stop you.
So before I end the stream, like I said, I want to tell these guys thank you again. Kevin, thank you for coming on here with me as well. This is the Double XP podcast. You guys got leveled up your game. Make sure you guys get all your gaming news from TiC Network.com. Follow Decoy Games. On the screen, you guys will see each individual person's name. You will see their at Decoy Games on there. And come on now, the merch. I need to get some of that merch, man. It's time to sell some merch. It's time to sell
I need that
merch.
high top duck in my life, man. I need that.
That's it, man. We out.
Thank y'all.